If you and I started a consulting business and we're helping businesses to get online, there's really a fine line that we have to walk between functionality and protecting that business against harmful traffic and harmful activities. And as we consider solutions to provide both connectivity and protection, Checkpoint has a really nice arsenal of tools and features that we can leverage. And because companies don't need every possible feature, they can simply license the blades that they want to use on their gateways. So traditional firewall features are provided by the firewall blade, permitting or denying traffic based on the protocols and ports and addresses in use, so that when Bob goes out to the internet, the firewall tracks that session and then dynamically allows the return traffic to go back to Bob, including features like network address translation at the firewall. So that's a standard feature set in most firewalls. Another really cool feature in most firewalls is the ability to create site-to-site VPN tunnels, and that's a blade or a feature set also in Checkpoint. So that way, if a user at the headquarters site wants to go ahead and communicate to a computer or device at the remote site, a VPN tunnel can be built between the two firewalls at the two sites, and that traffic, as it goes between the two firewalls over the VPN tunnel, can be protected. The mobile access blade allows us to provide secure remote access connectivity for our devices. And oftentimes, we want to permit or deny certain types of traffic based on what's going on at the application layer. For example, if Bob is going out to Facebook, maybe that's okay from a social media perspective, but we want to restrict certain applications in Facebook. For example, no instant messaging, or no file transfer, or no games. And so with application control, we can be very granular and allow the Checkpoint gateway to not only be aware of what type of content is going back and forth, but also to permit or deny based on that. With URL filtering, we can control based on category or specific URL about what our users are allowed to go to. And if we want to protect against certain types of data from leaking out into the wild, for example, credit card information, personally identifiable information, healthcare information, with data loss prevention DLP, we can have our system looking for certain types of data, whether it's through email or web, or going to a service like Dropbox, and then stop it at the gateway so that information doesn't leave the company. And it's the content awareness blade that provides that data visibility enforcement so it can know not only what's going on, but also implement policy based on what's happening, for example, at the application layer. And if we want to include, as part of our security policy, the identity, for example, allow this if it's Bob, or deny this if it's Lois, it's the identity awareness blade that allows that functionality to include the user's identity as part of our policy. With the monitoring blade, we can get a better or more complete picture of the network and security performance and activities that are happening across the network. And for quality of service, the QoS blade allows us to control the flow of inbound and outbound traffic at the gateways. And then for the threat blades, we have the IPS blade, which is intrusion prevention system that can help identify and stop attacks or malicious traffic before it gets into our network. The threat emulation blade can help identify zero-day and polymorphic attacks, and it can leverage sandboxing either in the cloud or on a local server, with the intent of taking a closer look at and identifying harmful code before that's allowed to propagate through our network. The anti-bot blade is going to look for bot-infected machines, and also helping to limit damages by an infected machine by blocking the command and control communications between that device and wherever that command and control center is. And in order to stop viruses and worms and other malware at the gateway, there's the antivirus blade. There's an anti-spam and email security blade that can be integrated as part of your email system. And then also as part of email, there is a threat extraction blade as well, which can inspect incoming email attachments with the intent of removing or preventing any malicious attachments from making it to the inbox of any of your users. So to activate these blades, what we would do is on the left-hand side in the navigation pane, just click on Gateways and Servers, and then we'd select the gateway that we want to have those blades enabled on. And here we could either double click on that gateway, or we could go ahead and slide over here to the right on the summary tab down below where it shows all of the blades that are currently enabled on this device. And from here we could click on Activate Blades, and what that'll do, it'll take us to the general property page for that gateway. Here we are at General Properties for that specific gateway, and what we do on the Network Security tab, we'd simply put a check next to the blades that we want to have enabled on that gateway. And in order to actually use these blades in a production environment, we'd also need to have the corresponding license for that blade to get that functionality. So it is great to be aware of the capabilities of a system, including Checkpoint. And that way, as you and I are consulting, if we're working with a customer that needs data loss prevention or URL filtering or intrusion prevention systems, We know that we can provide those features and functions just by licensing the appropriate blades and then including those features as part of a security policy in a checkpoint environment. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.